So as we are seeing this example, we have I0 and I1. I0 and E equals to I1, then $1 equals to accept. So the next transition can have is can have T here. So we will write down the states. So it is E gives T dot plus E, and since the look ahead will be transferred, simply you will transfer it. So here this also you should consider this also, so it will be E gives T dot, so that is it, and the look ahead also has to be mentioned, so you cannot have any other transition. So here if you see you for finding, after finding the closure also, that there cannot be any more LR1 items which could be added. So this is the next state, I2. Okay, now so that is E is over, T is over. Now we can have ID. So let us see that. That is a terminal symbol, ID. So T gives ID dot, and we are talking about this. Now plus will be transferred like that. Now for this it is T gives ID dot. You need to consider this also. The look ahead for that will be $. So that is the item. You cannot have more. Also finding the closure also, you cannot have more items. So this is termed as I3. Okay, now for this you had $, that is there. Now you can consider this I2. It can have a single transition, that is plus. So on plus, what happens? E gives T plus dot E. Okay, and the $, is transferred like that. Now you need to find the closure of this. What is the closure? These two productions with dot on left side. So that is E gives dot T plus E. So when you are adding this, you need to consider what? The look ahead. How do you consider the look ahead? So since instead of due to this E only we are adding this, so whatever comes after this E has to be considered for the look ahead, that is first of epsilon $, that is $. Okay, now the other one, that is E gives dot T comma, the look ahead will be again instead of so you are adding this because of this E, so whatever comes after E, that is epsilon $. So first of epsilon $, is $. Okay, so closure of this LR1 item is over. Now we need to consider these. Okay, so similarly what happened here, the same thing will happen here. So after dot it comes T, so we need to consider this. So T gives ID need to be added with dot on left hand. So since you are adding this, due to this particular T, whatever comes after this you have to find the first of it. So that is plus E $. First of plus E $, will be plus. Now we cannot add any more items here. Now we need to consider this. So T, this production will be added again. T gives dot ID comma, so we need to consider the first of epsilon $. So since you are trying to find the closure of this particular LR1 item, you need to consider this. Okay, so epsilon $, first of epsilon $, is $. Okay, so you cannot, now the closure is over, you cannot add any more items here, so you can make this a state and name it as I4. Okay, now in I2 you cannot have any more transitions here. In I3 also these are final items. So here consider this and you can have a transition of E. Okay, so let us draw it here. So this state on capital E will take you to E gives T plus E dot. E gives T plus E dot, and the dollar will be transferred similarly. And this is a final item, you cannot add any more, so you can close this and name it as I5. Now, so that is over. Now you can have transition T here. So what happens when you are going, you apply the go to operation of T? So if you see this, it is a similar operation here. So on T, it goes to E gives T dot plus E dollar. So similarly, you can have this transition also here. So on T, this goes to the right side of this, E gives T dot dollar. So these are the transitions. So what you can do is, you can just put an arrow here, and that is capital T. Okay, so on E it goes to I5, on T it goes to I2, and now on ID what happens? It is similar to this state. So you can draw an arrow here also, put ID there. So on ID it goes to this. You can have these two. So you need to be careful about all these, because on putting arrows you need to be careful, because there are all chances that you may find a different state for any transition. So you need to just be careful. So here you don't have to worry. It is you can have this whatever transition happens on T on this particular I4, you get only this, so you don't have to worry. Here also for ID also it is this, it is the same. But you need to be always careful about this, because you may get a different transition. Since you need to consider this look ahead also, you may get a different different state. Okay, so with this we have all these states. You are completed with the LR canonical collection of these LR1 items. So if you remember, we are constructing canonical uh, collection of LR0 items. So here it is canonical collection of LR1 items that we are constructing for CLR passes. Okay, so we have 6 states I0 to I5. Now let us construct the parsing table for this. So for parsing table, all the states that will parsing table. So we have the states 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 6 states. Okay. And on action, you can have action and good. What will be there on action? All those non-terminals. Sorry, terminals. On action, all those terminals. So which are the terminal symbols? You have plus and ID are the terminal symbols, and you add the dollar symbol also. So you have plus, ID and dollar symbol, and non-terminals are E and T. Okay. Okay. So you need to find the transitions here. So I0 on E goes to I1. So 0 on E, you have 1. 0 on E, you have 1. 0 on T, you have 2. 0 on T, you have 2. So you have all these go-to operations here. and 0 on ID, that is a terminal symbol, you go to 3. So 0 on ID, you have 3. So that is a shift operation across ID. So 0, you have shift operation S3. Now on 0 all those transitions are over. Now on 1, on for dollar you will go to accept. So for 1 on dollar you can mark it as accept, and on 2 you have two transitions, one transition, that is plus. So it is a shift operation since it is a terminal symbol. So 2 on plus goes to 4. So that is a shift operation. 2 on plus, it is a shift operation. So that is it for 2. For 3 you don't have any more transitions, and on 4 you have 3 transitions. One is E. So 4 on E goes to 5. That is a go to operation. 4 on E goes to 5. So we mark 5 here. And 4 on T goes to I2. 4 on T goes to I2. So you mark 2 here. And 4 you have ID transition also, so that is a shift operation. So 4 on ID, I3. So 4 on ID, this I3, that is a shift operation S3. Okay, now comes the difference. Actually up to this point all the parsers works perfectly as the same for any parsing table that you construct. Up to this point everything is fine, everything is exactly the same. So only difference happens afterwards, that is for the reduction operations. So how do you find the reduction operation? We will see here. Actually when you compare it with CLR1 parsers, here it is a little bit easier. So you might have already you would have guessed what would have happened, what is happening. So anyway, the all items, all the states with dot on left right end will be taken for a reduction operation. So here you have I3 and I5, I3 and I5, and also I2. You have a dot here and at the end. So I2 is having an item, CLR1 item with dot on right end. I3 also is having, and I5 also is having. So you have to fill the rows for 2, 3 and 5. So 2, what happens? E gives T dot. Okay, E gives T dot. So which is the production? That is 2. So R2 needs to be filled across 2. Where you will fill, that is obvious, you will fill it across the look ahead. Okay, so the meaning is the reduction operation is only performed whenever you find a dollar at the input. So that is the only thing here. Okay, so E gives T, that is the second production, that is R2 needs to be filled across dollar. So you see 2 here, so you see 2 here. So dollar across the dollar, 2 across dollar, you will fill R2. So here R2 will be filled here. So you need to you just see here, you have in other LR0 and SLR you would have put the reduction operation across the row, the whole row, but here it is only for the look ahead, LR1 item look ahead, that you are filling this reduction operation. Okay, so for I2 you have done this. Now for, let us see I3. So for I3 you have T gives ID, that is the final item. So that is the number corresponds to that is 3. So R3 needs to be filled for what? You have plus and dollar both. Okay, so R3 will be filled across plus and dollar in dollar across 3. Okay, so R3 will be filled here. R3 will be filled, and for dollar also R3 will be filled. Okay, since you have plus and dollar here, and this is the item. Okay, and for what happens to I5? I5 you have E gives T plus E, and you have dollar here. So T plus E stands for the first production, that is R1. So across dollar for I5 you will put R1. So across dollar for I5 you put R1.